Thanks, Bitcoin. Thanks, Whale, who sold 24,000 Bitcoin yesterday. ETH made an all-time high. Well, the markets dropped shortly thereafter. Where the hell are we in the market cycle? A lot of people are confused. Are we in the beginning, the middle, the end? Is it over? Got one guy in the chat saying the bear market's here. We're going to give our thoughts on it. But big shout out to ETH for making an all-time high. We're going to talk about inflows. We're going to talk about why the bull market is not over. We're going to give you some statistics and metrics. We're going to talk about a vertical that I shared with our Patreon members and why they should load up on certain coins in the sector. We'll talk about how that's progressing. Chainlink makes another massive partnership. Is this one a slight against XRP? Maybe. We'll talk about what it means. We'll look at the markets. And is there going to be more downside to come? Could we see a sub 100K Bitcoin before the next leg up? We have that and much, much more on today's episode of Sin City Crypto. Let's go.
Hola! It's your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto, home of the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency content where we take that old, boring, stale information, package all up in a fun, sexy way. You know what? It's a lot of that doubt is in the air. And well, if you've been in this space long enough, you know that people call the tops and say that the market's over and then Bitcoin's dead and like, what are you guys doing? Sell now? Calm down. Calm the hell down. The Bitcoin cycle is not over. The top is not in. There is a lot more to come. I'm going to tell you why I believe so, and I don't think I have as much data and analytics as perhaps David does. I just go off the feels, how is the feels? I don't need to analyze the text messages and the subtle messaging I've gotten from some of my exes. I know when it's over, and I know when she's in love. I don't need all the information. I got the feels, man. I got a good beat on these kind of things, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
That's what I do, bro.
Man, Friday was such a good show.
Oh, yeah? What happened Friday?
Well, you weren't here.
Yeah.
Good show. We were wearing the same color shirt.
It's similar.
And
it's
we're
similar.
wearing the same shoes, too. What color is your underwear?
Pink.
Me too. Crazy. What are the odds? Two straight guys wearing pink underwear. Okay. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Shout out to those of you that were in the stake stream yesterday. I had a lot of fun. Shared a lot of insight. Shared a story about me and you. You should go watch that. Know you were having some issues yesterday. Spent a long time in a closed compartment in the car. Anyways, shout out to you guys. It was a fun stream. Although we didn't come out ahead, that's okay. That's okay. We'll try again soon. Let's start with Ethereum. Yesterday, let's start here actually. Yesterday, Ethereum officially made a new all-time high, $4,900.54. As you can see here, let's get rid of that. By the way, that's my next target level for ETH, 5621. We'll get rid of that for a second. Previous all-time high, 48.87. Current all-time high, 49.54. But we gave it all back in a matter of like 5 minutes or something like that. And so big spill off in the market. ETH obviously did put in a new high on a close. As you can see here, this massive Cialis candle. This was on Friday. Going into the weekend, saw a little bit of a pullback on Saturday and then Sunday. Everything rallied, and then it's like you blinked, and Bitcoin was down $4,000, and it took the rest of the markets with it. We take a look at inflows from Friday. Bitcoin, another day of negative inflows. Ethereum, another day of positive inflows. Okay? This time, Fidelity led the way with 117.9 million of inflows, which brought the total across all ETF issuers to $337.7 million of inflows for Ethereum. While Bitcoin saw, we can go down here and check Bitcoin's ETF flows. Bitcoin saw the 6th consecutive day of outflows, negative net flow, 23.2 million, with BlackRock being the only one in the red, $200 million of BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF was sold on Friday. And so you're starting to see the divergence from ETF flows for ETH, ETF flows for Bitcoin. And then you have this as well. Ethereum has become the fastest asset or company to reach a valuation of $500 billion. 500 billion. You see, it took ETH 5.8 years. The next closest was ExxonMobil, which took just under 8 years. And then Bitcoin took 12 years to get to 500 billion. Ethereum only took 5.8 years. Rob, what are your thoughts on ETH? Actually, before I ask Rob his thoughts on ETH hitting all-time high, I do want to get your thoughts on our channel partner. I don't actually want to get your thoughts. I want to get your support. Today's show is brought to you by Stake.us, the #1 social casino in the entire world. You know, I was playing, like I said, poker yesterday. Had a lot of fun. Stake.us. I was trying to play a sit-and-go tournament. It was taking too long, so I got into one of the ring games. You can play ring games, tournaments, sit-and-go tournaments. You can play slots. You can do scratchers. You can play roulette. There's a bunch of these strategic roulette things people are doing. That's like a 97% guarantee. Anyways, if you want to have some fun, win some free stake cash, redeem it for crypto, look no further than Stake.us. There's a link in the description of the video, and we appreciate you for supporting our channel. And big thank you to Stake.
You know, yesterday I went to the largest gas station in California, 80s World. You ever seen it?
Yes.
Yeah. So, first of all, place is cool. Second, I got some scratchers there.
You did?
I got two $20 scratchers. I lost both of them.
Wow. Shocker.
I'm only scratching on Stake from now on. Just throwing it out there. I love me some scratchers.
Thank you very much.
Do you have a go-to scratcher?
Yeah.
I got a Monopoly one and then like the double something, I don't know.
Yeah, I like the one where it's very confusing. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. You just scratch them all. Like, did I win?
I felt like an old man.
Yeah.
I was sitting there. I was like looking at the. It took me like 10 minutes to make sure I didn't win.
Yeah, soon enough you're going to need reading glasses. Anyways, all-time high yesterday for Ethereum, Rob. But are you concerned there was no momentum and follow-through? And kind of remind you of Bitcoin.
No,
right? ETH ran up to like
momentum?
48.50, came down, then ran up to 4,900, made a new all-time high by $100. Bitcoin in 2021 ran up to 64, big correction, then 69 all-time high at that point, and then the bear market. What are your thoughts on ETH hitting an all-time high, and are you concerned?
I don't know about the term no momentum. You know, it's
There's no momentum.
2 weeks ago we were at $3,500.
I'm saying, like, you break an all-time high. There was no momentum to carry.
Yeah. We basically went above.
Bro, by $100. Like, we made an all-time high by $100, and then it just dipped immediately.
Yeah, we saw the same thing out of Bitcoin recently, where it went above the all-time high, and then it was
exactly.
It came right down.
So it's like sputtering to all-time highs. Does that concern you?
No. Take a look at this. This is Bitcoin. This is breaking its
graduating.
When it previous all-time highs
what chart
here.
Is this?
So this is on the 1 day.
No,
this
what
is
chart
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin dominance?
No, just
or
Bitcoin.
Just Bitcoin.
Bitcoin's price here. So this was earlier in the year, February. This is when we broke our previous all-time highs. And so you have Bitcoin at $50,000, and then it matched its previous all-time highs from 2020 or 2021. And this was 62,000, right there on par where we're at. And then we just absolutely obliterated it a week later. And so we moved from 50,000 up to 60. We hung out there for less than a week. And then we went from 60,000 to 73,000. And so and this is the largest asset in crypto. This is one of the 10th largest assets globally compared to everything. And, you know, this is something that can move by a factor of 50% in, 3 weeks. And so to answer your question, am I concerned that ETH sputtered when it hit the previous all-time high? Well, look no further than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin hit all-time high and hung out for 5 days, and then, pow, it was gone. This thing exploded and moved another $11,000.
Yeah, and then what happened? It was 8 months.
And then it chopped. Yeah, then it chopped. Yeah,
that's my question.
But then look here. Then booyah. Then this came after consolidation around the all-time high. Now, will we see 7-8 months of consolidation around the all-time high? Because Bitcoin was hanging around 60 to 70,000 for way too damn long. We were falling asleep at the wheel. Retail was falling asleep at the wheel. Institutions were getting in. They're putting in their positions. And then, boom, you have a big breakout. Then we're at 90,000. Then we hang out here at 90,000 for a while. Then we break out again. And so, you know, you look at ETH. This is on the 1 month. This thing's got some momentum. This is just in the last 30 days. Like, we started at 36,000. We dipped down to 33. And, you know, here we are. Look on the 1 year. This is some big moves. We've seen ETH down to $1,500. This was just 4 months ago. And so, you know, it's when in doubt, zoom out. And I don't get anything else to rhyme after that one. But just, you know,
insanity.
Take a time to take a minute to think about how quick crypto moves. And ETH is the leading example of, you know, altcoins gonna speak what?
Speed to the downside.
Speed to the downside. Yeah. No, I think that you're gonna see the $8,000 Ethereum in the next 60 days. I think once we get that rate cut, get a little bit more prosperity out of the indices, the NASDAQ will start ripping. I think that's going to carry ETH up and above that $5,000 mark and beyond. There you go.
You said how much in 60 days?
$8,000 Ethereum. I think things are going to go bananas here, dude. I think you're seeing altcoins wake up. The shackles are coming off for the U.S. regulators in crypto, and banks are going all in. The liquidity and the books are so light that it's not going to take much to push it up. We started the show out by you saying someone dumped 24,000 Bitcoin and it tanked the price from 115 down to 111.
It was like 117.
Okay, well, whatever the damn price was, it tanked the price quick. It's just because the books are light. The books are shallow. And so it doesn't take much to move the price. We saw the price move dramatically down to the downside. Same will happen on the upside. And so I think we're going to see this big breakout. I think once people realize that, hey, ETH's in price discovery and it's got a lot of room to run, there's going to be a lot of people onboarding through traditional finance, Wall Street, and even institutions. I think we're going to start scooping up a lot of Ethereum. I think the timing makes a lot of sense for a pump to continue here in the short term.
Shout out to Corvox, said, when in doubt, zoom out, don't pull out. I approve this message. And Dave Flowers said he's going to rent till he dies. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. That was ETH. Let's talk about its brother, Bitcoin. So if you're wondering why the market's tanked, well, I guess you can't, without a shadow of a doubt, say this was it. Shows a lot of factors. But a Bitcoin whale sold $24,000 worth of Bitcoin, which was worth over $2.7 billion yesterday on a Sunday, and it tanked the price. They still hold another 152,000 Bitcoin worth more than $17 billion. You think this is an individual? I didn't see anything where the wallet was identified, but that's a lot of Bitcoin. If you add in the 24K, that's almost 180,000 Bitcoin. That's what the U.S. government has. I'm not saying the U.S. government's dumping Bitcoin. Okay, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm just trying to give you a comparison of what that amount equates to. It's almost exactly how much the U.S. government has, between 166 to 180K. So the concern is, well, he's got another 152 left. Is this dumbass going to do the same thing he did again? I don't know. Probably. If he did it once, he'll probably do it again. But also, don't be surprised. You know, we find out that a lot of these derivatives exchanges are adding a little seasoning on top, a little sprinkle, drag the price down a little more than it should have gone to liquidate those longs and make their money. Wouldn't be surprised if that happened. And so, I don't know, man. A lot of people are concerned about this. What are your thoughts? Any thoughts, if you have any? That's a no.
Hold on. No. I was asking ChatGPT.
Or are you asking it? Why are you gay?
No, I was asking if it could identify who the wallet is. It says large chunks of it have been labeled hyper liquid, but no exchange, no government, no company or individual has been confirmed to own the wallet. I'm asking ChatGPT to do a little bit more research for me. We'll see. I'm gonna power AI here to see if it can figure out who's.
You should use Grok. Even Sam Altman said GPT-5 was a miss. You know. All right. Let's talk about some known governmental Bitcoin reserves. The United States. It says here. It's according to CoinShares. 198,000 Bitcoin. How they get it? Seizure. All these are seizure, right? China. We don't talk about this enough. China holds 190,000 Bitcoin. Was it China that sold? I don't know. UK, Bhutan, El Salvador, so on and so forth. Ukraine's got 46,000 Bitcoin. Oh, from donations and reserve plans.
Yeah, a lot of people send Bitcoin during the start of that.
Can you imagine how cool would this be? The war is over. There's a peace treaty signed, and they kind of build up their economy back up, kind of like El Salvador did with Nayib Bukele. With Bitcoin, they got a decent stash. They got more than El Salvador does. El Salvador has 6,100 Bitcoin. They got 46,000. That'd be pretty cool to see. I don't know if it'll happen, but either way. But this is just to give you an idea of the countries that currently have exposure to Bitcoin, albeit a lot of them are from seizures. You have Saylor. You know, Forrest kept saying Michael Saylor is done buying. Well, Forrest, if you're watching, he's not done buying. And he bought the top again. Strategy has acquired 3,081 Bitcoin for $356 million at a price of $115.8K. And then, so now they currently hold 632,000. Jesus Christ, that is so much big. 632,457 Bitcoin, which is currently valued at $46.5 billion. Their average price now is 73.5K. We also have this. DDC BTC, a lot of letters there. AAA for abundance, new purchase. They bought 200 Bitcoin. They now hold 888. Wait, what area code is that? Oh, that's not an area. That's a toll-free number, right? I'm thinking Hawaii, but Hawaii is 808, right? You have no idea. Their goal is to get 10,000 Bitcoin by the end of 2025. So let's assume August is over. September, October, November, December. They got 4 months to buy another 9,000 Bitcoin. What does that average out to? 9,000 divided by 4. That's around 2,000 Bitcoin a month, a little over 2,000 Bitcoin a month if they want to reach their goal. And then one more, Metaplanet, smaller buy, but still a buy. 103 Bitcoin was purchased, bringing their total to 18,991 BTC. Goldman Sachs, they have added to their Bitcoin exposure, 194 million to be exact, bringing their total to just under $500 million. $3 trillion asset manager signals growing confidence in Bitcoin. And this is what I was saying on the stream yesterday when we were just having a conversation with the chat. This is part of the reason I cannot subscribe to the idea that we're going to get a 70% drawdown in a bear market. You have companies like Goldman Sachs that are buying Bitcoin, and let's say they bought it at $112,000, okay? Let's say they bought it at $112,000. Do you really think if Bitcoin goes down to $95,000, they're not going to buy? If it goes down to 90K, they're not going to buy. If it goes down to 80K, they're not going to buy. Of course they are, right? They're not the average investor. They don't get scared and sidelined, and all of a sudden, the years and resources they spent to formulate their Bitcoin thesis is out the window because the price dropped 20%. That's not going to happen. And so when you see these pullbacks, there will be buyers. And so that's just something to keep in mind. This is interesting, right? Someone in the chat said, when in doubt, zoom out. Also, William Calhoun. Calhani said, Hawaii in the house. So, brother. My kid wants to go to Hawaii. Never been to Hawaii. I want to go. Anyways, probability of positive Bitcoin returns per holding period. If you hold over a day, 53%, 1 week, 55%, 1 month, 57%, and then so on and so forth. So it just gives you a perspective of the longer your investment time horizon is, the more money you will make. It's that simple. If you got the patience to wait, if you have the mental acuity to handle the ups and the downs, and you stay even, and you just stick to your plan, you can look back. You can go 5 years from now, look back and say, wow, all I had to do was just buy, hold, and not freak out.
So yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I was hanging out with some high net worth individuals. Let's just say people where
McDonald's employees are not high net worth individuals, by the way.
Not that level. Oh. But I was hanging out with some prominent people. And we were talking about interest rate cuts, and they're talking about, like, you know, mortgages and interest rates, and they were talking about Jerome Powell coming in and saying they're going to cut rates. You know, so I kind of jump in the conversation, like, yeah, a little Jerome Powell sprinkle here. They mentioned something about, like, price of housing, and then they were just upset with the economy, and I just simply said, hey, that's why y'all need to buy some Bitcoin. That's all I said. And historically, if I'd have been in that situation, I'd have been in a large group of people. Everyone's having drinks. We're chatting. And I would have said, hey, that's why y'all need to buy some Bitcoin. I said nothing else. Nobody pushed back. They all nodded their head and said, yeah. There wasn't a, I have a company. None of that. They just nodded their head and said, yeah. In the history of my hanging out with high net worth individuals, this is not very vast. It's very small snapshots of instances, because I hang out with the scum of Las Vegas, the bottom feeders out here. But, you know, that's where I met David at. But anyways, I have historically got around these people, and they just always throw shade on my parade. I say, hey, buy Bitcoin. Everyone laughs at me. They call me stupid. They say it's a scam. Like, oh, no, we can't buy it. My company can't hold it. I can't get a hold of it. Something about FTX. Hey, what happened with this BitConnect thing? Like, it's always something. Some pushback. And I was flabbergasted when I reached a nod and agreement. Like, damn it, yes, I do need some Bitcoin. You are correct, sir. It's interesting moment there.
Ah.
Yes. What are you laughing at?
The text message. Okay. We'll get to Bitcoin talk in a second. You know, certain cultures are known for certain things, right? When you think about China and, you know, how the kids learn in school, usually they're really good at math. They teach them, like, you know, technology, right? I saw a news or a headline, you know, every single school, every single grade, they're teaching AI to the kids, right? So someone, you know, the Chinese kids, they're taught in that area. My Indian kids, engineers, science, math, okay? Well, we have a glimpse into how they study and how they go so far ahead. You ready to see it?
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
And so, Jeannie, be ready to kill the music. I don't know if there's music. I forgot, but yeah. Anyways, so pay attention, take notes. If you want to become like these kids who grow up and be engineers, scientists, and mathematicians, this is what you got to do. So you see, you know, they have those EKGs for the chest. You just put them on the books, man, and it transfers to your brain. And there's one more. Smash the bread on the paper, and then you ingest it. There's different ways to get smart, you guys. And so this is how the smartest kids, the engineers in the world do it. Please take note, and best of luck to you. Which one was your favorite, by the way? Was it the injection? Was it the EKG? Or was it the eating, ingesting it in an interesting way?
What is wrong with you?
What? What? This is how they study, dude. Look at that precision, just insanity. Look at this kid. He's in the zone, bro. This kid is gonna be the lead AI engineer for OpenAI. All right, let's take a look at the markets.
All right, so let's take a look here. We got Bitcoin floating around 112, so a little volatility on the 24 hours. A day ago we were at 114, and well, look now we're at 112. But we want to know what's going on in the altcoins. All right, not a lot up today. You got Hyperliquid sitting flat. BitTorrent at up 2%. Everything else is down on the 24 hours. Yeah, I got Pendle, Pudgy Penguins, Lido, Uniswap, Aerodrome, Dogwa Fat, all down 10% and more. And so we're seeing a pullback in the alts. Particularly, we've seen the pullback on the 24 hours in regards to the ETH ecosystem. You can see that the Ethereum ecosystem is hot and heavy here on the losses. Arbitrum, I think, is speaking to me. I think that this is the one that has shown the most volatility, most leverage swings to the upside and downside in comparison to Ethereum's moves. And so I think that this is going to continue. I think that if you do see a $8,000 Bitcoin, or excuse me, $8,000 Ethereum, will likely see extremely large move out of Arbitrum. I'm marrying the fact that Arbitrum will be the top performer out of the big boys in the ETH ecosystem. So Arbitrum, Optimism, AAVE, Uniswap. My winner here out of that group for this cycle will be Arbitrum. I think that it is shown to have the most swings, and it's a scaling solution. It makes a lot of sense. ETH is yet to remedy their throughput and scaling transaction fees. Arbitrum is a no-brainer here. And so I look back on the 1 month, we've seen it at 40 cents. We've seen it all the way down to 36 cents. We've seen it as high as 60 cents. And so I think that this is something that I have gave some thoughts about over the last couple of weeks. I know I've spoken my optimistic view for Arbitrum, and I really have settled in on the idea that Arbitrum's going to be a big winner this year. What's your takeaway on Arbitrum?
I like Arbitrum.
Yeah.
Andrea, she's been watching our show for a long time. She DM'd me on X, and she just asked, what are your thoughts? You know what? Let me actually just pull it up real quick. She had a really good question. She asked about layer 2s and stable coins. I'm just going to go. And you don't got to pull this up, Gina. I just want to see for myself. Layer 2's coming back. If private public governments don't want to give up power, they will communicate with Web3 via layer 2s. So I think the only network where L2 investment makes sense is Ethereum. Solana, you don't need an L2. Cardano, you don't need an L2. Any new layer 1, they're built to not need an L2. So if you're going down the list of, well, there's a bunch of good projects, Optimism is an L2, Arbitrum is an L2, Mantle is an L2, so on and so forth, I think Arbitrum, in my opinion, ranks number 1 in terms of layer 2s. So I think it's, yeah, I mean, I like Arbitrum. Nothing wrong. But again, I just would stay in the ETH L2 ecosystem, and it's going to be very easy to follow which ones are doing the most of the legwork for the ETH base network. And it's Arbitrum. And you're seeing partnerships with Arbitrum directly. And so, yeah, I like Arbitrum.
All right. So taking a look at the 1 week, this speaks a little bit more to what's going on currently. So we got a lot of projects in the green on the 1 week. You got OKB up 55%. I still think that this is going to be a highly manipulated big market mover, this bull market. I don't think it is done. I think easy money here is on OKB. Could it pull back? Absolutely. I think it's a higher risk play because it has big moves to the upside, which means eventually it'll have big moves to the downside. So, timing would play a big factor on a hold for this. I mean, could it go back down to $46? Absolutely. could easily go back down to 46 bucks. But I do think that we're in an uptrend. OKB token is more than likely controlled by the founders and people at a high-ranking position at OKB, and I just don't see this slipping down very far. I just don't. I think conversely, the opposite will happen. I think that you will see the $300 to $500 OKB. I think this is not an ideal buy from a smart money perspective. But from that degenerative kind of like, hey, I'm pretty sure I'm going to make money on this. This is a good one for me. I love OKB as far as what I think the price is going to go to in the short term. And I also love Arbitrum. But I don't think you can really lose out on some of these other picks. As you can see here, the biggest gainers, you have OKB on the week. Also, you have AVE here. And so I do believe that Arbitrum will outperform AVE, but probably I wouldn't be surprised to see AVE move in sidestep, and I wouldn't be surprised to see AVE outperform Arbitrum. AVE could be
AVE's gonna crush,
dude. Yeah, I think AVE.
I was buying AVE at 60, 70 bucks.
Yeah, I think AVE is
one of my better performers.
It's gonna do well. I don't know.
And it keeps expanding outside of ETH.
Do you like Arbitrum or AVE better for this?
AVE.
AVE?
Yeah.
I can't. I think that's just the kind of different point of view on the outcome of the ETH ecosystem and what is going to be important for the consumer and the industry. If it's going to be decentralized finance and it seems to be leaning towards AVE or leaning towards Ethereum, AVE is going to be a clear-cut winner. If you just if it's an RWA-driven market, I think Arbitrum and even if stable coins become more and more prevalent, you're going to have a lot of transactions that need to be handled on ETH. And so in that perspective, so it just kind of depends on what's your outlook on crypto and its use case and utility. What is the market going to desire more? Is it decentralized finance or is it RWAs, stable coins? And you can make an easy argument for either side on that. Now, you also have Kronos here. Big fan of Kronos. I think Kronos is going to have similar performance to OKB. Less manipulation, but I do think that there is a large incentive to get in on Kronos. You have a lot of staking and there's a lot of rewards tied into Kronos when it comes to holding it for the credit cards and earning points, things of that nature. And as the market heats up, as more and more people are onboarded into these exchanges and they start dabbling into the other services that the exchange offers, like, oh, hey, there's a credit card. Like, hey, I can earn a lot of rewards and a lot of perks for owning a credit card and locking up this token. So I could see this thing going bananas as well. So big fan there. And then you got Solana. Like, this is the largest layer one here. So you're looking here, you got OKB, you got AVE, you got Kronos, you got a lot of smaller projects here in this top five. Then you got Solana at 5. So you got a large $100 million or $100 billion market cap crypto here. And this thing is up 7%. I think that will we see that $1,000 Solana this cycle? I think so, which means that it's more than a 5x away from where I believe the price is going to settle in at. There's going to be some big moves. A lot of money is going to be made. Millionaires are going to be there's going to be a lot of new millionaires here in regards to Solana because the ecosystem is going to explode. Don't sleep on Solana. What's your outlook on Solana, David? Do you think Solana summer is still here?
Summer's over.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, I meant to say, like, with Solana summer, because I know a lot of people said Solana summer, and then Solana really just didn't explode. Do you think that Solana gets that latter part of the year rally, that December $500 Solana, perhaps even higher? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think once all the alts run, Solana will run. I think Solana's got a chance to have its own run, just like we saw with Cardano. Kind of had its own run. ETH has had its own run. Solana previously had its own run. Avalanche had its own run. So they go in like pods, and I think Solana's got that chance. But I think like my max for Solana this cycle, I think is like $450 to $600, dude. And I think 500, 550. Unless we get a bull market that extends deep into 2026. And I'm just curious to see what market share Solana grabs from the RWA side and from the stablecoin side. I think a lot of that's going to depend, the price action is going to depend on those two factors. But, I mean, even $500, that's a 2x?
I don't even think the bull market starts till next year. I mean, I know.
That's just an asinine thing to say.
Why?
The bull market doesn't start till next year?
Yeah, the parabolic, big, giant green candle, like euphoria. Maybe. I don't think it starts. I think when Jerome Powell gets and his time expires, when is he set to leave office?
I want to say May.
Yeah, and interest rates get slashed by a full 2%. Whoever Donald Trump puts in there is immediately slashing.
May 15th.
Yeah, so I think the markets will front run it. They'll expect a change in the chair. Donald Trump will appoint someone that will come in and heavily cut rates. He's been extremely vocal. He said it over and over again. Rates should be 2 to 3% lower than they are now. You can argue that's a sound move. It's good for the economy, but I ultimately believe that he will put somebody there and they will dramatically and aggressively cut rates almost instantly when they get in that Fed chair position. And I think that how can you not expect crypto to go parabolic then? It kicked off last bull market, right? Last bull market we went from $8,000, $6,000 Bitcoin up to 20, and we were all euphoric. Then Fed cut rates, boom, we shot up to 60,000. And so I think that's what we're going to see. In the meantime, you're going to have steady, sustained growth. Altcoin season is going to pop off. It's going to be a weird cycle. It's going to be a weird cycle.
It's already been a weird cycle.
I know it is. And I don't think that it's going to end in the same way that it has in the past.
Fucking better not.
It's not going to, man.
If it ends in October, unless September historically is a bearish
now,
month. Even
the most stable markets will have bubbles, right? The housing market, which is, up until 2008 and never ultimately crashed. It was, a bubble that was growing for, 100 years. And that was arguably the most stable market out there. That one crashed. And so you will get a market crash in Bitcoin. It's not even a question of if, it's just more of a question of when. And I think that right now it's price discrepancy is off. And I think that you're seeing companies and banks come in, buy it. They're wanting to get more. I think a lot of the smartest individuals are kind of kicking themselves for not having it. And so as the price does tumble for pullbacks, the smart money is just going to backstop it. They're going to come in and buy it. And I think that's going to happen until we get to some banana number. Until we get to $1.5 million Bitcoin. Then at that point you can talk about a crash. You can go from $1.5 million Bitcoin down to 400,000, and everyone's like losing their shit.
I think I've said this before, and I'll say it again. And Fade and TradFi put in there, but if the new Fed chair comes in and they start cutting massively, I think that could be as harmful, if not more harmful, than when Jerome Powell just started hiking the rates, and a lot of the banks went under. And so we'll see. I do want to give a big thanks to Weeks. They're our go-to exchange for trading. We currently have one position open. I'm going to do something cool with this with my account here. I'm working on getting an algorithm API into this account. I'm just running through some final tests and checks. But we'll see. We're going to have some fun. If you want to join me, there's a link in the description. Sign up for an account. They do have some of the most liquidity in the space, and they're all doing a $2 million giveaway. And so trade 10K daily to win guaranteed prizes. That's what the banner says down here. And so I've been trading on here. I do want to move on to, well, I'm going to break down this chart. There's some bad things going on here with Aerodrome, and I'll kind of, maybe we'll put in a live trade. I'll be doing the Sistine trading show in about 10 minutes. And so stay in, and you'll automatically be redirected. Come join me. We'll see if we can catch a trade on this one. I'll tell you what I'm seeing on the chart. I do want to talk about Chainlink. This was posted yesterday. We're excited to announce a strategic partnership between Chainlink and SBI Group, which is one of Japan's largest financial conglomerates with around $200 billion in assets. They'll focus on powering several innovative use cases centered around tokenized funds, tokenized RWAs, such as real estate and bonds, and regulated stablecoins. This was a quote from Yoshitaka Kitao, which is the representative director, chairman, and president and CEO. Wow, that's a lot. You think he gets paid a salary for each individual position? Like you get $100K a year for representative director. You get $500K a year for chairman. Anyways, he said, quote, Chainlink is a natural partner for SBI, complementing our financial footprint with their market-leading interoperability and reliability on chain. With our combined strengths, we are delighted to be working together on developing groundbreaking, secure, compliance-focused solutions, including powering compliant cross-border transactions using stablecoins that accelerate the widespread adoption of digital assets in Japan and the region. There was some back and forth. Formerly known as Chainlink God, Zach Ryan said this partnership, he highlighted what it said in the press release. This partnership will also focus on facilitating payment versus payment for foreign exchange and cross-border transactions using CCIP. No bridge currency required. Kind of taking a shot at XRP. And then you have AIXBT chiming in. Said SBI holds 9% of Ripple plus XRP bags, but chose Chainlink for actual payment rails. 19 White House officials hold 2.35 million combined after the CTO confirmed zero value accrual. 3-layer extraction. Ripple sells to institutions who sell to believers who sell to nobody. I don't know if I agree with the last part, but the first sentence here is very interesting. SBI, again, holds, I think the number is closer to 10%, but they went with Chainlink for the payment rails. Very interesting. And then some kind of TA here from Ali Charts. One more dip before $100. I don't know if I'm with that, but either way, here's some analysis. Just real quick, because we're starting to run out of time here. What are your thoughts on this partnership? Is this a slap to the face of XRP?
Yeah, it's interesting, dude. It's I don't know. I've always been in the camp that large companies or even governments are not going to settle in on one blockchain. And I know that we've talked about that before. We've said, hey, like, who's going to handle stable coins? Like, honestly, we talk about it with banks all the time. Like, hey, banks are not going to use simply one payment network, one channel, right? They do it with all their other companies, right? Or all their other services. They might use one company for gold in a certain area, and then for other gold services, they might use a different company. And so it's not surprised, put it that way. And also, if you put all of your investment in one area or one channel, then if there was ever anything to go wrong with that channel, everything is broken. And so I think it's, from a security standpoint, the smart move, right? Hey, we use XRP, we use Chainlink. This is the service provider for, international settlement of remittance payments. And then for Chainlink, we're going to handle stable coins domestically. And so I think that's something you're going to see a lot of. And I'm not surprised. I don't think that Ripple is at a disadvantage here. I don't think that there's like some kind of stain behind their technology. I just think that this is how it is moving forward. I mean, we have a business here. We don't use one person for lighting every single time or one person for audio. We have our main person that we like to use, an industry expert, but it's just say, hey, they're not available, whatever it is. Like, hey, we need to have backup systems in place. And that's just how businesses operate. So I wouldn't read too much into it. I think it just speaks more about like the two names, right? I think it's extremely bold for XRP to be partnered already with one of the largest well-known names internationally. Also, Chainlink, throw them in the bucket as well. The names that you don't see in there are the ones that you might ask yourself, like, hey, you know what? I haven't seen any of these partnerships with my favorite layer one, insert name here, that hasn't really done much lately. And that for me, I think is more condemning than to say, hey, there's a second blockchain in this conversation. I mean, do you think it's problematic, David? For
I mean, we're in the early stages. Like, I think this is the important. You know, you get them in your ecosystem and then you build on that. And if you're not getting picked now, sure, 10 years down the road or 5 years down the road, you might get picked. But I think now is important. I
agree with you. Yeah.
I'm with you. It's very interesting. Not to say that XRP is any worse off because of this news, but the simple fact is Chainlink has just been at the forefront, dude. And you're starting to see this thing come to fruition with their buybacks, the reserve. I think everything is lining up for Link. I think Link's going to have a big rally, dude.
David, I wanted to show you some big news headline here. Pull it up. Justin Sun named Best Blockchain Innovator at UK's AI Agent Hackathon by Imperial College London. My God, Justin Sun, you did it. You are the #1 blockchain innovator.
Wait, that says Tron DAO is the sponsor. Coincidence?
Just saying that, you did it. There's certain awards out here that a lot of people have tried their whole life to get. And
well, remember, it's His Excellency. H.E. Justin Sun. Seriously, that's what his...
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
His Excellency has won. Congratulations.
That hackathon by Imperial College in London is something else, man. They are...
And listen,
the gold
has
standard.
Nothing to do with the fact that Tron DAO was a sponsor, okay? Nothing. It's a coincidence, guys. It's an absolute coincidence. Okay, I did want to talk about treasuries just real quick, and then we're going to wrap the show up. So this is one that I told our Patreon members just 2 weeks ago. My two verticals, one of them was treasury plays. And well, you're starting to see it more and more. Former Bitmain execs to launch BNB treasury firm with YZI Labs backing, targeting a $1 billion raise. You also have this as well. Sharps Technology has announced a $400 million plus private placement to establish the largest Solana digital asset treasury strategy. These are coming. I also ultimately think one of these blowing up will be the beginning of the bear market. I don't know which one, what it's going to look like, what it's going to be, but one of them is going to be over leveraged. One of them is going to do some shady shit. One of them is going to be just, it's not, it's just going to fall on their face and, well, it's going to take the markets down with you. But again, those of you that are part of our Patreon, thank you for your support. You have a list of the altcoins that I listed that I think are going to get a treasury. So you already know. Those of you that aren't part of our Patreon, you can either join the Patreon and get the info or just do the research yourself. Either way, it's going to happen. It's happening. That's all I got. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. I'll be going on Sistine Trading in 5 minutes. I need 5 minutes to gather myself, grab some water, and I'll be good to go. We'll be breaking down charts, hopefully putting in some trades. So come join me there. With that being said, Gina, outro. Thank you. See you in 5 minutes. Bye.
Sin City Crypto. Cassius Cuvée. Yeah. Sin City Crypto. Everybody know what we here for. Entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in. For big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I spit the game, but they gave it. Name the coin that's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy the dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger tornado close ya.